Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. In today's video, we're going to do a vlog. I haven't done a vlog in a while, and I wanted to try and read a handful of books that I have really been wanting to read, and I think that they are really good picks for October. They're spooky, creepy, scary, and I have a good range here. So it's not just all haunted houses, they are a really nice range. So let me show you what we're going to talk about. But before we do that, be sure to like and comment down below. Let me know if you've read these books, if you're going to read these books, or what you're reading for this month. And if you would like to get more videos from me that are horror book focused, mostly the supernatural, be sure to subscribe. All right, so what am I going to be reading today? This is probably going to be the biggest reading vlog of this type that I've done. Usually I do 3 or 4 books and I read 20 pages, but today we're going to do 6 because I think we need a really good variety. The Haar, or the Hair, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, by David Sodergren. Cool. This is a folk horror fairy story. I know what to expect with this. I know it will be gory and probably a little bit funny. Eric LaRocca's Everything the Darkness Eats. This is about rituals and black magic in a small town. Christina Henry's The Horseman. This is a take on the Headless Horseman legend. And I recently read Christina Henry's Alice, but she has a few books in her Alice series. Totally loved it. Very dark and messed up and everything I kind of want in a dark Alice of Wonderland story. So I know that this is probably going to be the same. It's going to be dark and twisted and it's going to be cool. I'm really looking forward to this. The next one is Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. Very excited to read this religious horror story. This takes place in a conversion camp, and it sounds like things get very weird and very scary in this place. The next one is The Toll House by Carly Regan. This is the haunted house book in this group. The interesting thing about this synopsis for me was that this is a house that has a death mask hidden inside of it. And when the family discovers it, that's when everything gets unleashed. So I'm looking forward to exploring that. The next one is The House of Tongues by James Dashner. I think he's most known for his Maze Runner books. So this story is about family curses. I know that there's a gothic tower in the woods somewhere in this book, so I'm going to be looking out for that. So these are going to be the books that I'm going to be reading today. I'm going to be doing 20 pages and just seeing, how does it feel? But the question is, which one do we want to start out with? I thought maybe I would just start off in the order they were, but that seems kind of boring. So let's just go ahead and roll some dice to see which one I will read first. And we'll just label them whatever number they are in this stack, starting from the top 1 to 6. And I have the coolest dice in the world. So let's go ahead and roll. That's 6. The Toll House, the haunted house one. All right, let's get relaxed and read some pages. Okay, I read 20 pages of The Toll House. It was a pretty quick read. And what happened so far is this young mother and her son. Her son is beginning to have nightmares. And the mom is actually getting a little concerned because he's 6 years old and he doesn't usually have nightmares. And he actually seemed legitimately terrified. We get into another part of the story very briefly, which goes back into the 1800s, into the same house, where a woman is giving birth with a midwife, but she ends up dying, and it seems like the baby also dies. So that's all we really know from the lore of the house so far. There's a scene here where the mom and the son are like playing in the garden or the yard or something, and the son discovers this pot, and he's like,
"What is this? Can you help me get it out?"
And so she does, and it's like covered in spiders. She puts it on the ground and she opens it up and she looks in there and she sees like these eyes looking at her. The eyes were I think, a pile of rocks, but I wasn't sure if that was just like her rationalizing it or if that's what it was. But she was like, oh, now I have this feeling that like somebody's watching us. And then her next feeling is that the house needs her, which I didn't really like understand like that connection. But then I thought, what if the thing in the pot is now like in her, right? And it's probably connected to the house, and like maybe that's how she has the feeling. It was a really creepy little tiny scene. No, I appreciated it a lot. So let's go ahead and roll for the next one. We have 5 here and it's 1. So we're gonna read the first one on the top, which is the Haar. The hair. Her. All right, 20 pages. We meet Muriel. She's in her 80s and she is one tough lady. We get to learn a little bit about her character based on an accident that happens. She lives on this island where she can actually see, like, I guess like not the cliffs, but like the, you know, the water, where the ocean, the beach, the beaches or whatever that are down below her house, like she can see it. And one day there's this huge accident and all of these bodies start washing up on shore, and she runs down there and she starts pulling them out of the water, try to find survivors. And she actually goes back after, you know, pulling out bodies, she goes back and collected like all of the body parts and stuff. So this woman is like, yeah, it takes a lot for her to be razzled and frazzled. This American woman comes to her door and is basically trying to strong arm her into selling her property. So what's happening is like this island that this woman lives on with only a very small amount of people has been bought up by some American company that wants to turn it into a golf course. And she's basically like, no, get out of here. I'm never going to sell. But the issue is that a lot of people have already sold their properties. And so now they're beginning this raising of the island. And this woman is, you know, meeting with the last 5 other people who are still on this island trying to keep fighting, you know, against this billionaire who's buying this area. And there's also moments that are a little funny, and it just starts out really, really strong. I'm really looking forward to finding out how Muriel, you know, gets back at this billionaire or gets these people off of their island, because I definitely hate that kind of stuff myself. All right, we have 4 more. Let's go ahead and roll and see what the next one is going to be. We don't have a 6. Why am I just rolling all 6s? 4. Okay. House of Tongue. So I don't really know what to expect with this one. I have not read the Maze Runner books, but I don't really know, like, as a horror fan and a horror reader, like what to expect with this author. So I guess we will find out. So let's go ahead and read 20 pages. So I don't know what happened, but I lost the footage for this part. So we're going to talk about it today on Sunday. And so how this starts is it's with this man who, he's like the narrator, and he's telling us that some people think he's a monster and some people think that he's a murderer. But we will just have to make up our own minds based on this story that he's going to share with us. And then we get to meet him when he's really small. He's really young. He's like 6 or 7. And he is having a conversation with this man who is the local graveyard digger. And he always carries around this shovel. He's a short king. He's very small. He's like under 5 feet. And he's like sort of a mysterious figure for this kid. So one day the kid asks him, why do you always carry a shovel around with you? And the guy, whose name is Pee Wee Gaskins, says, well, you never know when you need to bury a body. So then we go into the future, and this character is now much, much older. He's in his 40s. He has a bunch of kids, and they are traveling to see his parents' house. And his parents' house is a place that he really covets, and he has a lot of great memories there. It is a meaningful place, and he brings his family there, you know, multiple times a year. But on this one occasion, when they are all eating together with his parents and his kids, and there's a knock at the door, and standing on the other side is this man. He's probably in his late 30s, and he points to our main character, David, who is the narrator, and he says, you knew my father. Pee Wee Gaskins. And so that's where it stops off on the 20 pages. It seems like he's very uncomfortable and there's going to be something that he's going to tell them that's not going to be nice to hear, it sounds. The writing style is fun, and occasionally the narrator will talk directly to us, the reader, and it's kind of it's telling you everything in a way that's like it's really spinning a yarn for you, you know. And so it's really fun. I'm not sure if this is spooky, but I know it has to do with serial killer. I know that it deals with this old house and that there's something about the family, like secrets or whatnot. So I'm really wondering why Pee Wee's son would be there. What is the relationship between the dad and his father? But I guess that will be all unfolded, once I read it.
Paul Classman Poe, E.A. Poe, Edgar A. Poe. Looked up quite a thirst, I say. Helps take the bite off the glue.
So this starts out with this young girl. Her name is Rose, and she's at this like watering hole with her friends. They're just jumping in and swimming around, but this is kind of giving us a little bit of a look into her perspective of the world, which is very religious focused. So before she's jumping into the water, she's saying a prayer, and when she gets out of it, she's like praising, God for her surviving it, basically. So you can see that this is a really big part of her life. And then we get to see an interaction between Rose and a friend of hers, Isaiah, who seem to be close friends, or maybe a little more. He takes her home after the summer outing and he tries to kiss her, but she's repulsed. She doesn't want a kiss from him. She only sees him as a friend, and he is very upset. He even punches his car. And then she goes into the house to have dinner with her parents. And we can see that, this in all of their interactions, it's like religion plays a really big factor. So you can see this in their conversation, and they're praying over dinner. And that's as far as I really got, except that while she was at this watering hole or this quarry or whatever it was where they were swimming, she saw something really strange in the woods, which was a woman with all white eyes, and she was wearing like a red polo, which doesn't seem like your normal spooky kind of outfit, but this woman with no pupils, just white eyes, was seemingly looking at her. And she was kind of like, does anyone else see that? And everyone's like, no. So that was the one little thing that seemed like there's something a little weird going on here. But the writing style is really good. This takes place in Montana. Gives you a really good sense of like the area and what it looks like and what it feels like. So I think it's really easy to imagine, where we are in these places. I thought it was really funny that the mom made spaghetti with extra garlic, and the whole family thought this was kind of naughty because there's something maybe too indulgent about using spices maybe. Okay, so now we have 2 more left. So there's only 2 books. Let's just roll 1 to 3 will be Horseman, and 4 to 5 will be Everything the Darkness Eats. Well, 1. Okay, The Horseman. So yeah, let's get to it. 20 pages. Okay. So this starts out with a crime. And it's these 2 little kids. They are in the woods. They're playing a game that they call the Sleepy Hollow Boys. So it's just like something that's very particular to them that they play. So as they're playing in the woods, they hear horses. And they scurry because of course, they're kids. They want to know what's going on, but they know that they have to stay out of the line of sight because adults will be like, get out of here. So they're trying to be very sneaky about it. So they see a group of men standing in the woods with their horses, looking down at something on the ground, and warning, it is about child murder. So there is a body that is discovered. It is very mutilated. and they are sort of having this heated discussion about who they think it is. And one of them, or a lot of them, actually really believe that it's this Horseman. But as far as we know in the story so far, the Horseman is just sort of like a legend, a folk tale of some sort. But it seems like a lot of these villagers think that the Horseman is very real and that he could have done this to this little boy. So it really starts out kind of more like this crime mystery. So now it's all about figuring out, how did this child die? Who did it? And there's also a little bit of foreshadowing with one of the kids where they feel some sort of familiarity with what's happening, but they can't really grasp it. Like they can't really remember or, just make the connection to why they feel this. So there's something back there. Really enjoyed it. I love the writing style. I think Christina Henry just has a phenomenal way of writing, and it's very gritty and it's dark. So totally into this too. Last but not least is Eric LaRocca's Everything the Darkness Eats. This will be really cool for me because I haven't actually read any of his work. It's something that I definitely see around all the time. People talking about it, discussing it. So I'm very curious as to what it'll be like for me. So let's hop to it, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are introduced to a location that seems like it's a system of caves, and they're doing some excavation there. It sounds like I don't know if it's scientists particularly, but it's definitely people who are interested in, what's happening in this cave. And they find something, and it is a engraving on one of the stone walls. And it has like this image of people kind of around a deity. And the person who seems to be like the lead of this whole entire project has come through the cave system to look at it. And they are like, yeah, you found the thing that we've been looking for. And with this newfound knowledge, I guess, he has the ability to explode people's heads off. Yeah, everyone in the cave. Everyone. Then we get to meet Ghost, who has some kind of physical disabilities that seem to have happened from something, but I don't think we're told what that is. But he had a wife who passed away, and he's still in mourning for this person, and his life is just sort of like, nobody can see me, I'm practically invisible, so this is just my life now. And he has this sort of like, he refers to it as like a little spirit, but it seems like it's like a voice in his head, it kind of follows him around and talks a bunch of shit to him, and just makes his life difficult. He's also socially awkward, and he just really doesn't feel like he's going to meet someone ever again that will be okay with who he is. He likes women, he likes men, but he feels like women don't like the fact that he likes men, and vice versa. He's lonely. He feels like a social outcast. He has these disabilities, these physical disabilities. And that's pretty much all that we know about him at the moment. So it's not too far into the story, but it does start with a big bang. The writing style is okay. I don't like it when there's a lot of it has a lot of those I don't know what you call them right now. They're like, she fell from the sky like a leaf on an autumn breeze, like that type of thing. And there's a lot of those, there's 2 in 1 paragraph, and I don't know, it's just something that kind of stands out to me, and it's just sort of a personal preference. But I like this thing, where you go into a cave and you come out with a superpower. It just happens to be that you can just pop everyone's balloon like there's no tomorrow. Yeah, it's something. So now that I've test driven these 6 books, I'm just going to categorize them 1 to 5, 1 being the most likely that I'm going to read, and 5 being the least likely that I'm going to read. So I think this is number 1 for me. This just really speaks to me on everything that's happening. I'm intrigued. I really want to keep going with this one ASAP. So this is going to be number 1 for me. The second one is going to be the Toll House. I have to know what's going on in this room. What was in that pot? Was it really eyes? Is this mom possessed now? What's going on with it? Number 3 is going to be Camp Damascus. I like religious horror a lot. I don't know what to expect, so that That makes it really exciting. Number 4 is this one. Muriel is a really interesting character. You know, maybe she's gonna summon something. You know, she's gonna summon some ancient folk deity to come and save their island. And I always really get heartbroken, you know, when you see these beautiful locations just get razed for a parking lot or a golf course or something. It always makes me so sad. It's like, not only are you taking it away from the people who live there, you're also taking it away from an entire ecosystem that was there, you know? And so it always makes me really sad. So I think that I will get some pleasure from Muriel in here. So really rooting for her. Number 5 will be House of Tongues. I almost said House of Usher. I really don't know where this is going to go. Like, is it going to get spooky? Is it going to get horror, more in the horror realm? I mean, I know that they talk about curses in here, but you know, that curses can mean a lot of different things. So I'm not too sure, but yeah, number 5. And then I think number 6 will be this one for me. Out of all of them, I think like I really liked the writing styles of all of these, like no complaints. And I'm a really picky reader, I think. Like I just have my own little quirks and, you know, things that I like and dislike. So like with these other books, I just kind of felt like no distractions, not at all, like no distractions with the reading. And this one I did feel distracted with. The beginning sounds really intriguing, like this whole head popping thing. But after that, I think there wasn't enough time for me to really discern if I wanted to keep reading with it or not. So it just kind of like, I don't know, you know, like maybe. So number 6. I love doing these vlogs. They're like so much fun. So that was my reading vlog for this month. I hope that you like this video. And of course, please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.